All right. Okay, chat. Let me know if you guys can see what I see. Waiting. All right, all right. I hope this works. Oh, there he. Okay, guys. What's up, guys? Happy 4th of July for all the fellow Americans. Happy Saturday for all the international people. Let me know if you can hear me. And before we get started, let's go ahead and just make sure that the volume is okay. Like, so can you guys hear me? Like, am I too loud or am I too quiet? Just let me know right now. It's good? Cool, cool. All right. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there is music in the background. Is that too loud? BGM is also good? Okay, because I don't want that to be too loud. So you want to have a live show but don't know which one? No, dude, that's literally how we're feeling right now, just because it's been such a long time since I've done a live stream that, God, I almost forgot how to do it. But I'm gonna try and do more of these consistently. Thank you guys for being here like this freaking early. That's actually impressive. Mic quality is a bit weird. Filter on it? Not exactly, but I'll try and move it directly in front of me so you guys can hear me a little bit clearer. Can't you make it do a drum dance? No. We got a special animation that I'm gonna try and do today. So, well, you'll see. It's gonna be. Let's see. I will show you what we're going for. Do the roar. It won't quite be a roar, but we're gonna see how close we can get to doing like a simple game combat animation between two characters, because you guys wanted to see 2-character animation. Fi Golden, you got a couple questions before? Yeah, go for it. Go ahead and ask away. Akuma, thanks for being here. Cheers to you too, bro. But yeah, a lot of you guys were asking, because I asked you guys a long time ago, like what kind of video or tutorial or stream do you guys want to see? And a lot of you said, I want to see how to animate 2 characters together. And the thing is, like, that's like the hardest thing to animate. So it's like, I wasn't really sure if we were gonna do this, but at the end of the day, I just kind of said, let's try. And one of the cool things about today is we have a guest. He said he's gonna get some coffee and then he'll be back. But we have one of the Cascadeur devs with us today, so he will be watching us while we are animating. And you guys can ask him questions, and I can ask him questions, and if we get stuck, we can ask him questions together. So this will be really interesting, because imagine if you could make a Blender animation, but have one of the Blender animation devs watching you while you do it if you get stuck, right? Like, it's just it's crazy to have that opportunity on deck. If you get stuck, you don't have to worry, because they can tell you, I was like, oh, you forgot to turn this checkbox on, or like you forgot to click this thing. So hopefully, hopefully it's not just going to be us learning from him. He will also hopefully learn a little bit from us, because yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I've never tried this before, so if it works, it works. Yeah, parkour, bro. Is Cascadeur free? You can use it for free, but if you want to export stuff, you have to do like it's like $9 a month or something. I forgot. It's free to use. The only difference is if you want to export. If you want to actually export your work out and use it, then you gotta pay. But hopefully after this demonstration, you'll see why it's worth the money, because I think it is. Single player.
That's good introduction, actually. Hello.
Hey, did you get your coffee, bro?
I was listening to you talking, yeah, for a bit. Especially I love the part where, there's, do you want, some kind of a dev watching over your progress?
I mean, I think we do, because that's just such a rare experience. Okay, yeah, guys. Respect for the devs showing up. Yeah, for real. No. All right, so real quick, bro, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the chat and just let us know, kind of what you do normally, and what you're hoping to see, and we're just excited to have you. So yeah, go ahead and do your introduction. I'll let you go.
Okay, thank you. Well, hi everyone. My name is Max. I've been working for Cascadeur for like over 2 years now. I think since they actually released officially, and I've been in the know of the project. I've been around for like 3 years prior to that moment. So yeah, so you probably could hear my voice where if you watched any tutorial. So at some point, I started as a media creator for the software, but then I got very much deep into, animating and stuff, and I became this like a workshop guy, the presenter, and yeah, got to actually animate, and now I actually got a couple of gigs, like animation gigs outside Cascadeur, but we're still using Cascadeur there. So yeah, hopefully.
So you're a real animator. You're not just a
Yes, I'm a
developer.
real animator now.
Nice, nice. That's
With,
what.
like 4 invoices already.
No, we're good. Like, serious. Also, by the way, your accent's really cool. As an American, I can honestly let you know that we are jealous of your accent.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I hate it. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, no, man. It's cool. I feel like we're the default, and then everyone else is like flavor. So it's kind of cool. But
Well, it feels for me as well, because like when you hear people from, my region where I grew up, which is like Leeds, it feels like, it's standard, it's just normal, it has nothing to it, it was just like everybody else who's got like all those,
yeah, you're the one with the normal accent, apparently. Yeah, no, I know what
yeah,
you mean.
in my mind, yeah. But guys, look, I think, well, we are a very small team, in Cascadeur, and there's, as I joke, there's like 2.5 people in the, all the content creation process, but we stick very close to like the development lines, and we have to learn, what we're going to present in the future and where everything is going. So hopefully, if you have questions, I will have, answers of what I'm able to share with you. So yeah, let's see where it goes.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for introducing yourself, bro. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys what we're trying to do today. Okay. So you guys might have remembered, like I've been really interested in doing like combat animations. So one of the things that we're trying to do is we're gonna try and recreate a fight scene from one of my favorite movies. And not when I say fight scene, I just mean 3 seconds of a fight scene, like just one part of it. Okay, so this is the animation that we're gonna try and do. And let me remove this. So basically, it's a counter attack. You got two people. There's a guy who's trying to stab the protagonist, and the protagonist is doing a counter, and it looks kind of like this. Right? So it's a stab, knee. Okay. This is the whole gist of what we are gonna try and do today. So I just got our knife from ZBrush. There was a bunch that I was kind of picking from, but I felt like this was the most military normal sort of style kind of that we're going for. So we're gonna go with this. And usually I start out by just making sure that we get the knife in the right place and we get the finger positions in the right place at the beginning. That's usually how I start. And the raid, yeah, dude, the raid is my favorite. Like, the raid I think is still to this day one of the best like fight movies ever. So I'm a little bit biased when it comes to fight scenes. But yeah, now we're gonna do that. And one thing that we're gonna do first is we're gonna rename this mesh to knife because it will be a lot easier to find. I made the mistake of not doing that once before, and I could not find it in the hierarchy, and that really sucked. Usually the first thing I do too when it comes to weapons, I'll just go to local position and I'll just zero everything out, just so we have an easy enough starting point. And okay, yeah, we can kind of see it's too big, so we're gonna reduce this size a little bit. And I did some pre-recording with some basic quick magic stuff, so we're actually not going to start from scratch. We're going to start with some extra flavor, I guess you could say. But real quick, I am just realizing I don't know what direction he's holding the knife. Is it back grip or not? I think
By the way, we already started to have questions.
What's up?
With-
Go for it, go for it, go for it, man. Yeah. Okay, we're ice pick grip here on the left hand. Okay, I got this on the wrong fucking hand. Okay. Let me put this on the left. Go for it, go for it. Yeah. If you see
No,
me,
a couple of things that people ask just not to forget. There's a very easy questions. That's what I have answered.
go for it, go for it. Answer the questions while I fix the knife.
No, someone asks when will 4 or 3 finger control come? So you can use auto posing for less than 5 fingers if you have enough bones. So you can have, a couple of fingers there to represent the fingers that do not exist, the bones. It's just you have to put them in the system for it to establish the auto posing rig. And this is the way for you to animate, say, less than 5 fingers and still use auto posing. This trick actually works, for example, for characters which are, there was a case where someone was animating sort of like humanoid robots, but they were on the wheels or on the tracks or something like this, and they were like, well, we can't use auto posing because we do not have legs or enough like bones, right, to rig the character. But the trick is that you can have just those fake bones that you can rig as parts of legs and stuff. So overall the auto posing will work. This kind of thing, this kind of thinking also is important, because when you think, for example, auto posing is a set of different networks, so separate ones for for each arm, for the back, for each leg. So even like taking certain things out of the equation, you can still make the use of everything else. So yeah, with fingers, just make the fake bones to fill the template, and once you do, you can still use auto posing with less than 5 fingers.
I always forget that we have people who are like animating with characters that are like not necessarily using all 5 fingers sometimes. It's really crazy, but
yeah. And also, there was another question. We'd love to see a full animation course with Cascadeur. Yeah, right now is a couple of tutorials. We've been thinking about this for a lot of time, but the problem there comes with, again, not even just having a small team, because making a course is rather hard. But for example, when you order a course from, say, outsource this, right, from a company, what they do, they often offer you a course in like 8 to 10 months. And for us,
Yeah.
8 to 10 months, every 3 months, there's so much going on, development wise. So for example, 2 months ago, we did not have in-betweening, like 5 months ago, we did not have ragdoll. And 8 months in this way is, is a huge investment, but then what you get is not necessarily going to be up to date with where we will be. So instead of that, we decided to kind of like create this learning portal on our website where we will feature videos from different creators all across YouTube, and categorize those videos, and later on we'll come with learning passes where we will put together like different videos to form sort of like educational courses. So yeah, we're looking for other ways to kind of like push that idea. We're obviously in the know that we do not have enough learning content, but we try our best.
You guys are doing pretty good, and I think you said you are literally one of the guys who records and like voices over some of the tutorials for now, right? Like I think I remember hearing your voice in some of the videos.
Yeah, sure, but also there's a difference because we, as I said, like we have like 3 months between the releases where we have to learn and understand what we're going to teach people about the new stuff, and there's not necessarily enough time to actually produce like side content, just like using Cascadeur, because we're so focused on delivering the information about the new features, because nobody else knows this.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, it's not so simple like making a course, because as soon as you finish making it 8 months later, it's basically outdated sometimes, So I feel you on that. It's definitely a little rough. But before we go to the next questions, I want to go ahead and let you know, let you guys kind of know what we're doing here. All right. So we got the knife in the hand. And Cascadeur has this really cool feature for those of you who don't know. It's like the most intuitive finger system I've ever seen. You grab one finger and it guesses what the hand position is supposed to be. I love this feature. It's just like nothing in Maya, nothing in Blender even comes close to how easy it is to do hand positions. That's one of the reasons why I love doing all the human-based, typical skeleton stuff in Cascadeur. So it was really easy to kind of put the knife where it's supposed to be. We got everything in the right hand position, and usually, for those of you who are saying like you want to see a full animation course, we're gonna get kind of close today, because we might not finish it, but we're gonna get pretty close. You're gonna see almost the entire process. Usually what we did now, so I did a little preparation ahead of time for you guys because I didn't want to waste your time. But if you go to as you guys can see, like we wanted to do this, right? And I went ahead and physically acted out the scene and recorded it on my phone for both characters. And that's what you see here. This is literally me. This is me acting out. This is literally me acting out this animation as a base point for us to start. And so basically I just sat here for like 30 minutes and like analyzed what the most important, because I'm not a martial arts expert. I wish I was, but I'm not. So I already knew like my animation is going to be pretty shit. But it's okay because we're animators, we can fix it, So I acted out as the attacker, which we're gonna call A from now on. And then the victim is gonna be called B from now on. So I acted out A and then I acted out B. And I just wanna show you guys how bad the raw animations are, okay? So like, this is A, all right? Let me see if I can click here. Unreal's been a little laggy recently, but let me see if okay. Can I drag this? Yeah, so this is A. All right.
So no face reveal, right?
No face reveal today. Maybe another day. Yeah, but I like you guys. You don't want to see. I was like in my pajamas when I was acting this out. It was not good. But we're gonna do. So yeah, that was A, and then B. I think this is B. B looks funny, but yeah. Okay, so this is B, right? And like it's not perfect, but.
I don't think we can see B right now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, so B is from this angle, right? So A is looking this way, B was looking that way. And if you put them together, right, yeah, so, yeah, here we go, yeah. So he was reaching out, he reaches out, he gets stabbed here, and then he gets stabbed here, and then he gets stabbed here, and then he gets kicked away. And if you looked at it, so stab, and he gets kicked away. Now, in Cascadeur, we're gonna have to fix the rotation manually and stuff, but this is essentially our starting point. Now so that's, I'm gonna show you what I've been doing this whole time. And by the way, since the dev is here, if you think I'm doing it wrong, let me know. If you know a better way to do this, feel free to let me know, because I've just been winging it the whole time, and it works for me, but it definitely could be. I'm sure it could be better. So I'll go to a new scene, and I will go to import, and we'll go directly to the. All right, so we'll start with the attacker, which is A, and then we don't enter rig mode, and we go straight to the skeleton, and we're just gonna copy this whole thing here, which is the original kind of movements. And like, I know it's not elegant, but like I said, we're trying to use it. We're trying to not start from zero here. So something that we got to do is we got to make sure that we keep the exact same amount of frames. So 156 and do 156. Okay. So then we click here to select everything. And then we double click on this dude, and then we say Control-Shift-V, and hopefully we will have, there we go. Okay, that's our starting point for the A attacker. And now the next step is kind of annoying, but before we get into that, I'm going to
I was commenting. Sorry, I was
Go
just
ahead.
saying something, and then I noticed that I was actually muted. So you don't have to, if you don't have to retarget between the characters, you can just import the animation on top of the characters. So this way, you can just skip this whole thing of selecting everything, making sure there's enough frames that you select and stuff like that. So you could just go import FBX and then choose animation as a preset, and just import it
Really?
straight to your character.
Well,
Yeah.
let's
You
try
can try it
that.
with the
Well, let's try
other one.
that. Let's try that. Let me save before I lose it though, because that would suck. Like, that is definitely what a very common thing that I not necessarily for Cascadeur, but like my computer is not the strongest, so I try not to push it too hard. But let's try it. All right, so let's go to. Okay, so you said animation, and then does this look good?
Yeah, so you just import, but then again, look, you have to have your character in, right? So
Oh.
you want to import the animation, you can just open up a new scene, just show how it's done.
Okay, okay.
Very quickly, and import the second animation, for example.
So we gotta get this Manny character, and then we gotta
Yeah.
put him in this scene.
Uh-huh.
How do we do that? Like, because I know a jank way to do it, but I want to know how I'm supposed to do it.
That's it. So you go file import. No, in the
Oh, in the other one?
not the scene, but the new scene.
Okay, and then you just import it directly?
Wait, stop. So this one already has the animation. Let's try the new guy, the new scene that you opened.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And from here, you go import. Yeah, choose the preset animation instead of scene.
Instead of scene, so we're gonna do animation. Okay. And by the way, I think you're like the stream sees things about 15 seconds later, so it might just you and me are speaking in real time, but you probably can't see what I'm doing on my computer in real time. So if there's a little bit of a disconnect. But okay, we got scene. We're gonna do import. We'll do B.
No, don't import scene. You need
Shit.
instead of scene. Yeah.
Don't import seed. Okay. All right. Let me...
Yes. So instead of scene, you can use this preset, which is animation.
Animation. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this way you just import the animation, and given that that's still Unreal Engine 5 many skeleton that you have, so you can try this. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything
Let's
keep as
let's
is.
try it then. He's there. He's rotated 90 degrees.
Okay, let's now go back.
Like Control Z it. Okay, let me. All right, try it again.
Yeah, do the same thing. Import, and then down there's settings. Below include. In the middle, yeah.
I see.
And then you can choose the axis. Probably flip up axis, for example. No, I don't think that was the thing.
We could try maybe.
Yeah, just try it.
Nah, that wasn't it.
Yeah, it's just adjust system on route, something like this. You need to switch it off, I believe.
Switch it off. All right. If this, we'll try it, and if it doesn't work,
we get the access system on import. You turn it to off, and then it should be fine.
Nice. Okay, we got our second character here. So let me. So yeah, so this should be coming from that side, and if we look at the same thing here,
you can just shift, pair the scenes, link the scenes together.
Can link them together. I usually bring them into. I usually just bring them into the same. Well, okay, here. Let me show you how I know that. All right, there's a way to import scene, right? So
yeah. So first, I think you have to save it, and then you can import it.
Okay, let's try. And I think actually because I imported this at slightly different setting. Well, it's okay. We'll try this. All right, so save this scene as scene B then. Knife B. All right. So, all right, we got scene B, and do we just do like a straight import scene to get the other guy here?
I think you can just go through import FBX still, and then choose the preset.
Choose the presets. So scene, right?
Yeah, scene.
And then import B.
This knife B. Wait, is
Alright.
that no? Import your saved Cascadeur file. Like,
So would that be? That's not a. It's not. Is that the
just
model?
undo what you've done
Okay.
because
Okay.
you've got like extra tracks there. No, you do use this preset, but instead of importing FBX, you can just import the scene, import the Cascadeur file.
So let's see. Hold on. So it would be. All right. So under import, we do import FBX or.
Sorry, even easier. You can just import scene to current. I'm sorry. See
Import
one of
scene
the,
to current. Oh, I see it. I see
yeah,
it. I see it.
and then choose the Casc file.
Ah. Okay. Let's see if we get it. Hey. We learned something. We learned.
So did I. Yeah.
Hey. Well, now that's way easier. Okay. So now that we've got these two characters here, usually my next step is to align them so that they're like properly where we would need them at, like if we were doing like a game, right? So for example, let me see, what is, oh, that's the knife. Gotcha. Okay. And this guy is the, so this is the victim. So we're gonna rename this to victim. And then this is the attacker, I believe. Yeah, this is the attacker. So we're gonna rename this. Okay. So now that we've got this, I usually export it assuming like it's going to Unreal. So we're gonna be using the oh wait, I think I got this backward. The one that's not, okay, hold on. So we're hiding the stuff that's it. All right, so this one, if we hide this one, then only the attacker is left. Oh, this is the victim. Okay. Oh yeah, I got him backwards. I'm retarded. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Let me save now. And it takes a little bit to save, but that's probably just because I got like embedded in like my files and stuff. The industry standard requirement. Yeah, Cascadeur uses, I think the same, like hold alt to move your camera and stuff, which is pretty normal if you come from any developer background or a 3D background in general. I think Blender's the only one that kind of doesn't, but Blender's got its own unique traits too that kind of work out in its favor. Okay.
There's the presets for the controls and Cascadeur.
Oh, there are? Oh, I didn't even know. I just stuck with the defaults because the defaults work for me, but that's good to know. All right.
From my, it feels like it feels natural, but then yeah, Blender is a bit different.
Yeah, no, I got you. All right, so usually when I'm doing this, I assume that Z is forward, like, cause like if you were a video game character and you're facing forward. So usually, the first thing I do is I'll do the little trick where you like change everything at the same time, and then you rotate it so that it's correct. Kind of like that.
You can also, yeah, you can also use the oh, all right. So if you need to just rotate it precisely, you can, in the scene settings, you can adjust the, you know, for example, the angle of the rotation. Say lock it to 45 degrees or 90 degrees and stuff.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Like, you mean like down here in these things? Like you can do it precisely?
Up there, where they outline a scene settings and physics settings, just above object properties. Yeah, there's no, the previous one, scene settings. Yeah, and there's rotation manipulators. Yeah.
Manipulators. Oh, I see it. I see
So you
it.
can fix translation step, you can fix rotation step, and stuff. So
I did not know this is where the manipulator stuff was. Okay. Thank you for that tip. Okay.
yeah, but sometimes you need to just like 180 the whole animation.
Yeah. But no, that changes a lot. Okay. So now that we got the attacker facing the right direction, we obviously want the victim to face the right direction, and to do that, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna select his whole stuff, and we're gonna click on his center of mass, and we're gonna click this, and let's see, what direction is he? Okay, so we want to rotate him 90 degrees. Wow, he is so off center. Probably like this, I think. And we're gonna have to fix the, oh, okay. He is so close. All right, let's, there we go. Okay, yeah, all right, now we're getting a little closer to what I think we're supposed to do.
Okay, looks nice.
Okay, all right, so at least, so yeah, he's gonna come in, he's gonna get blocked, and then we go in for the kill. And yeah, so the timings are obviously gonna be off because I just recorded this on my phone without, like, you know, a timer or something. But that's okay, because like I said, we can fix this. So let me make sure that we get a pretty decent. I feel like in the real one, he's a little closer. Actually, how close is he in the real one? Actually, he's pretty far. So the legs kind of cross here, and his fully extended arm barely reaches the heart. So if we wanted to copy that, wow, okay, he's got to be far, like here. Yeah.
I think at this point, what we have to look for is just roughly the timing, because everything else you can literally affect.
I think so too. Like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but all right. So here's my hot take for you, bro. Like on the next step. So now that we got both characters in here, I'm going to save for good measure, you know. And then, by the way, guys, no matter how awesome you think you are, always save. Like,
but even if it crashes, I mean, there's an autosave system, so you can always go. I think it saves every 5 minutes, probably. You can adjust that in settings, but that kind of saves up.
Yeah. No. That autosave has come in clutch for me like a few times, so I'm super thankful about that. But yeah, so here's something that my hot take is. I actually feel like whenever I do, so normally I used to just I would select everything. So like, for example, we turn off the victim, we're looking at the attacker here. Usually what I would do, I'd go in here and I would select all these and then I'd say unbake, right? But I found that I don't know, the animation looks worse when you do an unbake, for some reason. So, like, I guess, like, we'll try. I'll show you what I mean. So, like, this is kind of what it looks like normally, right? But if we do an unbake, I think, let's see what we get. Sometimes it does crash when I try and do this, but we're gonna.
Well, you are you only doing the sort of like the third step of unbaking, the auto-posing lock, right? Which you can actually you might want to. Well, you're not going to get the keyframes, right, and interpolations. You're only going to get the auto-posing setup. So
oh yeah, no, that's true. Well,
so,
usually what I would do is once I got like all the blue dots kind of there, I would go in manually and I would just manually pick like the frames that I like, and then I would delete the frames that I don't, that are like not required, right? Because I think that.
Let's try this, because this is sort of like the old-fashioned way, I would say. You can adjust the settings of unbaking before you do this, because look, for the rule of thumb is, if you have good quality animation, I think like this is decent quality mocap, right? So it's not like glitchy or anything. So you need to put those settings lower. So you need to make the unbaking process a lot more precise. If you have a very glitchy animation where everything is just going all over the place, that's where you would use, you know, less precise settings for the unbaking. Let's just try it, because I do not think it's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
Just before you can keep the auto-posing there, it's fine, but in the scene settings, the top setting for in the scene settings tab would be animation unbaking.
Okay, I see it.
And yeah, so you can Yeah, I'm watching your stream, so I'm a little bit back. So 10 is too much for a good quality animation. I think like by default in the next version we'll set it to 5 by default. So this is think about this. This is 10 centimeters. So it says that the pose may vary 10 centimeters. And that's where it puts like the keyframe. So you may set it to 5 or even less.
Okay, we'll do
for a good
4.
animation.
We'll do 4 just for good measure then. What about auto posing
you could, like,
precision?
yeah, and instead of just instigating the last step of the of this kind of stuff, do the full unbaking on this character and see
Full
what.
unbaking. Okay, so like, does 4, 5, and 1 look like decent numbers for us to use?
Well, yeah. Again, if you see that auto posing changes poses too much, you can set it to even as low as 1 centimeter. So making sure that it's super precise. But I think like this should work.
Okay.
And yeah, instead of just using the third step of animation on baking, use the most left, like 1, 2, 3, like even before the foot thingy, the symbol where you see like two lines with with an arrow. It's still not used on baking, yeah.
Oh, there are several models. Please select a model. How do we select that?
So, yes, just select the center of mass of the
center of mass. Oh, is that how you do it? Okay, let me.
The same goes with having like multiple characters in the scene. If you want to calculate, say, ragdoll or specific physics for one particular character, you just select their particular center of mass, and yeah, it calculates for it.
Okay. Well, I hit the unbaking button, and we're gonna see if. I think it's taking its time. It usually takes like 15 seconds. Oh, okay, so we got something. Well, let's see what we got. Okay, it actually looks like it preserved. Okay, it kind of preserved. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it preserved enough. I think it did. Actually, it did. This is cool. All right. I take back what I said.
If you have good quality mocap, go for lower settings. And again, even if you go for the settings as low as 1, and I think you can go like 0.1 or something, if there's nothing going on in the scene, like the character is not moving much, it will not give you extra keyframes. It will use interpolation. It will only use the keyframes where, you know, interpolation is not working, because it goes like it's an AI system and goes through like, okay, what should it be? Should it be Bezier clamped? Should it be like IKFK global rotation? So for each interval. By the way, don't do this. I'll tell you why, because you are now, it's just like the frames there that you see are not blue. They are just for the fingers, and fingers do not
oh really? Okay, I didn't know that.
The fingers do not impact the actual animation, so you get more keyframes for the fingers, because imagine there's the person like playing the piano but not moving that much. Imagine how many keyframes the fingers will have, right?
Yeah.
So it sort of like separates between so fingers are just separate layers, and they have like separate keyframes for them and separate unbaking for the fingers, and then the rest of the body has its own keyframes. So if you just expand the attack array with the tracks for it, you will see that the keyframes are on, you know, the full body, and then you have extra keyframes which appear red in the
yeah, I think I'm seeing them now. Like, I didn't know that the red was just for the fingers. That I was wondering about this the whole time, but that actually makes a lot of sense. So let's just use the same settings for the other guy. Well, let me do this first so that he's got his blue dots. Okay, yeah, and then we just do this. And oh yeah, center of mass. I keep forgetting.
Don't need to get the last. You don't need it. It's just a part of you know, this is going to be the part of the whole like unbaking process. It's usually, you know, this happens where, for example, you want to keep animation like 100%. You don't want to use auto posing, or you do not need it, for example, and you can just launch the first step and the second step, you know, just to get the keyframes and interpolations, and not use auto posing if you want to preserve the poses 100%. So this is what you have it for. But usually, you know, straight from the box, the all the 3 steps should work.
Yeah, no, I think it's preserved. It's preserved things pretty well so far. So we have our keyframes, and all right, I think, all right, so let me save again before we go. And All right, so now from this point on, like that's like how almost all of my multi-character animation endeavors sort of start. Like it's the idea of like, all right, what are we doing, and then I act it out, and then I use shameless plug real quick. I use a website called Quick Magic, which basically just takes a recording of anything you have and then translate it to with the Unreal 5 skeleton for me. You guys don't have to use it, but I just find it an extremely invaluable tool whenever it comes to quickly drafting out scenes like this, right? Like, and as you can tell, the original data that you get it depends on your ability to act out the scene. I'm not a professional motion capture actor, so that's why if you go, I'll leave a link to it in the description. Actually, I'll leave a link to it right now. Give me a second. For those of you who do want to use it. If you guys hear something in the background, just be careful for the volume real quick. But
I just love how people know about like vector and shadow fights and all this kind of stuff.
Dude, like, no, our community is pretty like actual. There's a lot of crazy talented people here in this community, and I just feel lucky to have been just been a part of this. Honestly, like, this is really cool. But okay, so real quick, guys, I'm gonna leave 2 codes for you guys. The first one is the Quick Magic website, and let's see, let me plug it into the chat real quick. So this is the Quick Magic website, and there's a promo code for you guys, Royals, if you guys want to get extra. Like, it's free to use. You can translate like 5 videos a month for free, which is more than what most people need. If you use my promo code Royals, then you actually get more credits to do it. And while we are here, I'm gonna also just drop this shameless plug, since the Cascadeur Dev is live here in the chat. Here is a link to Cascadeur, and if you want to try the software out, you can just try it out. There's a link to Cascadeur, and you can use my promo code RoyalsGuys30 and try out Cascadeur for yourself and see if it's good for you. Like I said, I'm going to try and get as far as I can on this animation, and I think we're gonna get pretty far. But yeah, that's the Quick Magic website, and there's the Cascadeur website. Try them both out. They're both free to try out. Like, they're both awesome, and they work really well together because, kind of like I said, you can use Quick Magic to record yourself on your phone, get a really generic animation like this, and then you can, like an old-fashioned animator, just filter it out and tune it up yourself, like what we're about to do right here. So
we recommend Quick Magic as well, because I think from our experience, this is one of the best, video mocap services up there at the time. And especially what makes it super cool to work with Cascadeur is a lot of things, all the physics, like unbaking and everything, a lot of that is based on the character's fulcrum point. So where the character, for example, steps and gets in contact with the ground, because this is how physics works, right?
Right.
And Quick Magic does a very good job at keeping the feet sort of, like stationary, and keeping the animation related to the feet a lot. I've even seen, it's trying to like force the feet when it's just even maybe not in the reference there. It's like floating close to the ground, but it will still try to put it,
yeah,
firmly on the ground.
it tried.
And these are the things, these are the things which, help where, if you have your fulcrum points determined correctly and set up correctly, then everything literally, like fulcrum motion cleaning, animation on baking, physics, everything else is going to work, as intended.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there
was a question. Sorry,
go ahead.
Quick one. Is Mr. Cascadeur and Lazy Cascadeur related? If you're referring to the voices, we are actually friends and we do know each other. So yes.
The wedding is confirmed, guys. Totally.
Into Cascadeur, because I was apparently not doing my job in time. I had a lot more to do. So yeah.
No, you're doing a great job, bro. You're doing a great job, bro. But I'm glad we got the Cascadeur lore in check for for everybody. No. It's. I like when people just make up their own headcanon for characters that you're just doing in 3D. Like, you're just like, oh yeah.
She is actually unfortunately married. Well, maybe fortunately.
Unfortunately married. It's okay. She's not
Oh my
watching.
god.
She's not watching. I
But
won't
no,
say.
but it's incredible. But this is the thing that I value so much about like the team itself is because it's super chill and friendly atmosphere everywhere. So it's kind of like
No, you guys
yeah.
have a chill team. Like you guys have, you definitely have like a really cool chill team, and I think that probably helps just when it comes to making decisions fast and just being like, all right, let's just try this, and everyone does it, right? Like that's really really cool. But dude, seriously, no, this is great, and I'm learning about the lore of Cascadeur characters too. I didn't expect that today, but hey, what a treat. But yeah, all right. So basically, I guess we'll move on to the next step, which is, in my opinion, it's fun, but it's a little bit of a chore. And I already know, like, okay, so I already know that this is not an optimal way to do it. So bro, if you're gonna watch the screen and you're gonna be like, ugh, what are you doing? I understand, but like so for the next 10 minutes, this is just how I personally operate as an animator, just to have like visual clutter, like to clear my visual clutter, right? And so what I like to do once I've lined up the animations generally, right? So like I've made sure that at this point, this is where they would like this arm is supposed to be up here, but the timing is good because there's like when he's stabbing, you can see the other character is like getting stabbed, right? And then when the kick happens, you can see that's when he's supposed to be sent away. In Cascadeur, I would probably kick in some like ragdoll physics around here, but when the character goes to the actual game in Unreal 5, we're going to use their ragdoll physics instead. Just because you don't know what direction the player is going to be, or whether he's going to be falling off a cliff or falling onto the floor. So that's like something to think about whenever you're doing game animation. Is like, okay, we're gonna do our best to animate within the software itself, but you want to leave some leeway for the player, because the player is always going to do stuff you don't know. So we don't want to like set it in stone necessarily. But one thing that I like to do is, just for consistency's sake, is to line up, and I'll keyframe the most important moments for both of these animations, and I'll make sure that they're together. So like right here, I'd say the animation pretty much starts on this frame. So I'm just going to go ahead and key the attacker. Make sure that the victim is also keyed. And then here, right, this point of contact, I would say, I think this is a pretty important frame, so we're just going to key both of those. And here, right, I think, yeah, this is one of those parts that you really want together. Then stab, that first stab is really important, so we're going to just double up the frames here, stab again, and we'll just double these up. And I'm gonna key this just because this is supposed to be like him dying and getting stabbed, even though it's not really, it wasn't picked up by the unbaking. But I think, when you're doing this manually as an animator, you got to make that decision to, like, sometimes you're just gonna make choices that the software didn't make for you. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is like Cascadeur it gives you all these really cool options, but you are still in control of it. It's like, if you know what you're doing, it's like magic. But if you don't really know the fundamentals of animating, it's not gonna really do your job for you. So, and then right here, yeah, this is like the collision. So we're gonna double up these frames right here. So we got this, and then really at this point, everything back here, the animation is pretty much over. But for this guy, we'll probably we'll just key this. We'll make sure they're the same for here. Okay. So, what this has done, and I guess real quick, we'll take a second to respond to the chat. Somebody wants to know, where is the Cascadeur team located? So I'll let you take that, because I actually don't know where you guys are.
We are located in Cyprus, and do you know what? This is the thing. So, what I could not, for the love of me, use chat from my actual corporate account on YouTube. I do not know why. So I logged in with Rupreet. So this guy Rupreet there is actually me talking. So
I see you in the chat now. Oh, okay, yeah. There you are. Okay, you got it.
All the guys. while you are talking. Yeah, but most of the team is based in Cyprus. That's where the headquarters are. But we've got, like me, living in Finland. We've got, some people from Germany, Lady Cascadeur from the United States.
Oh, we didn't know that.
So
Okay,
you see,
more
we
lore.
are an
More
ocean
lore.
apart, like over the pond. So,
I'll let you get away with calling calling it our pond, but all right, yeah, fair enough.
it's a kind of a pond, yeah.
It's a pretty big pond, but it's a nice pond. It's Cyprus, nice. All
So
right.
very hot place. I'm yet to visit them there because I think I've never been to Cyprus, and I'm actually scared of high temperatures.
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro. I don't know. I'm an autumn kind of guy. I like that nice cool temperature, but
Winter,
winter is nah, man. Well, winter's okay when it's
Probably
not
not for
windy.
you, but when there's a lot of snow and it's kind of I do not know. There's something about snow that I love. Probably because I didn't get snow when I was growing up, and I was always like, it would always melt, and I would be like, oh, where's the snow?
You're
I
missing
know what-
out.
Yeah, but about the snow, I remember living in Copenhagen in Denmark for like a year and a half, and literally at Christmas there would be a ferry coming from Sweden or Norway with trucks loaded with snow, and they would offload the snow onto the children like playgrounds, and that's my snow experience as a kid. So
That's a great
I love
experience, though.
snow.
I like the way it looks, and I like the way it's got a cool feel to it. I just hate like I came from Oklahoma, which is in the middle of the USA, and it's windy where I'm from, and like just to give you an idea how windy it is, we have more tornadoes than anywhere else on the planet. I think we have the most tornadoes in Oklahoma out of anywhere else, so it's really freaking windy. And winter normally is cool, but snow plus wind is not a fun experience. It's like sometimes it even turns to hail, man, and it's just it's awful. But yeah, whenever you're doing like just snow by itself and it's just that beautiful pretty like mountainscape and you're just like, oh, this is perfect, man. But yeah, otherwise it's rough, man. So is lead? Yeah, no. Yeah, it's windy over. But I'm not in Oklahoma right now. I'm in Virginia, just because, just chilling out. You're in Oklahoma, Risk? Hey, shout outs, OU. Let's go. Yeah. So like at this point in the animation, what we're doing is I'm making sure that the hands line up at the most important points. So like right here, we can tell like very easily. The hands are supposed to be together, and I think there's two changes I'm going to make here. I don't want I'm going to turn the fingers off, which is also a really cool feature that you can do in case you just don't want visual clutter in your area. And I'm just going to move everything here down a little bit. Yeah, and that way we're not like dragging this guy out like crazy. And one thing here, I kind of wish the distance between this guy was a little bit. Well, you know what? We're gonna bring this guy closer, like, because like right here, they're like right next to each other. Let's go ahead and just. Here's another thing that I have noticed, or like at least that I kind of try and do whenever I'm in Cascadeur, is whenever I want to move somebody, but I just want to not screw up the feet position, I'll like lock the foot, and then I will probably lock the hand position too here, and then I'll just like move this. Like, that's usually how I go whenever I'm trying to do it that way. But what do you think? Well, rate my technique. Is there a better way to do this?
Well, I think it's decent, right? It's just like remember to unlock those points. Again, the thing to know about locking is it only works for posing, right? So it does not affect the interpolation and the animation, right? It's just there to help you do stuff. But probably the only thing I noticed that you have your pin in the bottom right of the viewport, there is this pin icon, which will fix the interpolation if you're going to change things on the interval. So it's better to keep it, to set it to off, you know, when
Is
you're
it
working.
on or off right now? I can't
Right
tell.
now it's on. So right now, if you're
Oh,
making changes to, that's why you probably got this green fixed interpolation at the very end there. So it's a good idea to just keep it off. And I think it should be off by default.
I never I literally didn't even know that pin existed. So maybe it was just on from like a leftover thing, but that's really good to know because I had no clue. But we'll leave it off just since just for the sake of just keeping it simple. I do love how you can just kind of shift Z something and then Cascadeur will just assume what it is, like the foot. We don't necessarily have to move it in perfectly. We can just remove the blue dots and then it'll kind of guess what it's supposed to do here. So here we got,
For example, look for the shoulder in this frame, for example, right? So or
Yeah.
in the multiple frames, so you can see that it's clearly broken,
yeah.
and yeah, you can just like deactivate this point, just the point of the shoulder for
Yeah.
the frame, and it
That's
will
true.
give you a better position there. That's a good way, especially when you and this solution is consistent. So if you have the animation where, say, you know, you get like jittery shoulders and stuff, if you have decent like hand positions, hand position data. Sorry, it's getting a bit late.
You're good, bro. You're good.
You can expect the shoulders to act consistently, you know, with auto posing. Could be used for knees, for elbows, shoulders if you need so.
No, that's true. That's true. Like, okay, so it's funny because you were describing something that's a good habit or a good practice, and I literally. Oh wait, Ixie, our moderator. Everyone say thank you. He's gonna be heading out. Bro, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. You take it easy, bro. All right, we'll see you next time.
We'll try to behave ourselves.
Yeah. No, he's Ixie is kind of a legend. He was I think he actually has, you know how YouTube gives you badges for like people who have been members? He has the longest badge. I think it's like something like 60 months or something. He's an OG. He's literally part of the channel. He's part of the mythology of our channel at this point. so thanks for dropping by, man.
By the way, Royal, how do you think we should address it? So there's quite a few questions I see in the list. So, and I don't want to, you know, I don't want you to kind of like feel pressure to. Maybe we should give it some extra time later in the stream. So we just focus, for example, for now, on you know, what you're doing.
Sure.
And then later towards the end, I will just go through the questions and we could, you know, answer them.
Yeah.
If you're not to stick around for a very long time, I think the stream should be available like later.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Yeah, no, well, let's go ahead and so guys, we'll be glancing at the chat a little bit less just so that we can not be animating for all day.
The questions are good. That's why I want to give it some extra time.
Yeah. No, I'd say we'll probably let's try and get as far as we can on this animation in the next 30-40 minutes, and then whatever point we're at, we'll probably just like close it in because I know everyone's time is valuable right now, and like we can just continue this later. It's not a big deal. I just wanted to kind of like, this is more about like chilling with you guys, and then also you guys just having the ability to chill with the Cascadeur devs too together with us, because you know I don't know if you guys know this, but every single one of the tutorials for Cascadeur has literally just been like, it was just a meeting with this guy that like previously on Discord where I would bug him and ask him a question, and I'd be like, hey, how do you do this? And he would be like, oh, yeah, let's hop on a share screen, and he'd just show me how to do it, and then I'd turn that into a tutorial for you guys. Like, and that was like 20 videos of Cascadeur. That was it. That's where they came from.
You make it sound so smooth, when in reality it was probably like you poking me with a question, and then like a week later it's like, oh
You're a busy dude, man. I got you, man. It's all good. We understand, but yeah, no, like, so we're gonna be focusing a little bit more on the animation just to move things forward here. But we're gonna be looking at we'll be answering the questions before we wrap it up. But yeah, it's a little sneaky. I mean, hey, I gotta get that. I need those answers somehow, so we're gonna do with it. But no, it's all good. So something that you reminded me of something that I actually forgot to do it because I probably wasn't thinking. But Usually what I do right after I got like keyframes in the right position for everything, I'll usually go into all those keyframes and just go in and remove the keys for all the elbow and the knees, just because I feel like Cascadeur does a better job than the original motion capture for a lot of this stuff. And
Again, even if you have like good hand data, right? So because the way it understands how the shoulders and the elbows work is basically on the wrist position, based on the wrist position. So if you have like decent wrist position, then you can expect it to work well. But yeah, oftentimes, especially with retargeting, it just does a very weird thing, and it's and also, you know, you can see like the way the shoulders are sort of like stretching, and it doesn't give it enough, you know, space to stretch further.
yeah, so that's something I've noticed as well. Is like, usually, if I delete the points for the shoulders, it'll do a better job. Yeah, like right there, it just fixed itself. So yeah, I usually get rid of the elbows and then I get rid of the shoulders, and that will solve a lot of the weird looking animations for the raw data, like off the bat. Like you can kind of see like, okay, now we're starting to get more normal looking animations. And yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'll just go through real quick and do this for the most important frames.
You can also like select multiple frames at the same time, use interval edit mode, and when you activate or deactivate the points, it will activate and deactivate them on the interval that you select.
So in this case, since like if you look at like, so you can see on like frames like this where we got like this shoulder is not activated, but this you know, this one is. If we did that select all thing, would it do the opposite to this particular point, or can we unselect all the joints in one go somehow?
Well, the thing is, if you have, for example, if we take like one shoulder, so once you select multiple frames and you select the shoulder, and you press Shift Z on your keyboard, which is activate, right?
Okay, yeah. So right now we did that, and they are all
if there is
activated.
at least one frame where they are, say, they are inactive. So the first thing for it to do is to activate them, and then the next time you press it and they are all active, they will deactivate all of them. But you can do it specifically for, say, the shoulder. If you know that there's, well, for now you have, you know, just a dozen of keyframes and it works well, you know, you can go frame by frame. But say you have an animation which lasts for like thousands of frames. So in this way, and you know that the shoulders do not work there, and that's the easy way. You just select all the frames and you use this function, then you do not have to go frame by frame for all those 5,000 frames.
Oh, so if you do it twice, like right here.
It's like full active, yeah, and then they are.
Oh, I didn't know you could just.
But you do not have to select multiple points. You can just be, if there's a specific, you know, point that you want to address at the moment, then you can just.
No, it's working. Like it's just fixing itself now.
The only thing, always remember to keep the pin button disabled, because otherwise it will lock the everything that you do on intervals. It tries to lock the interpolation between, so you do not lose the animation there.
Yeah.
The idea to keep
Okay.
it unlocked.
Okay, well we've cleaned up, so you guys can see how the elbows and the knees are no longer receiving data. That just means that we are giving Cascadeur the green light to figure it out, what the best looking joints bins should be. And that means we really just have to worry about the hands and the feet and then like the torso. Like, so that's another one of the things I think is a little bit nice about Cascadeur is it allows you to just focus on the simple parts of it without having to necessarily like do everything in like one go. And like right here, these are not really aligned, and that's okay. Like I said, we're not trying to make a masterpiece today. We're literally just trying to get the gist of it done. And you guys, yeah, like it's not gonna be like a Da Vinci level animation today, but the idea is you guys can kind of see how it works whenever you're doing this. Another thing to keep in mind is we already know that all of the second-hand motion is going to be done in Unreal. So for example, if you have a character like this, right? Well, this is our Patreon girl. We're not animating the dress by hand. We're animating the dress is going to be using Unreal Engine's cloth physics. So what that allows us to do is in Cascadeur, we just worry about literally the human motion, and all the other stuff like cloth physics, hair physics, anything that's dangling or whatever, like a chain, you don't even have to worry about it because you know the game engine's going to handle that for you. So that's another reason why I feel like Cascadeur is just a very, very nice sort of like, at least for what I do, when I'm really just animating human characters 90% of the time. It's one of the reasons I really like Cascadeur. It just makes everything so much easier when it comes to, whoops, I almost did that wrong. Go press F, there we go. And we go here. It's gonna do this thing. And we'll worry about the finger positions later. I'm gonna go ahead and just, okay, well, we're just gonna do a quick draft. All right, we got that. Yeah, and for the, okay, so at this point, what I would normally do is I'd just go ahead and turn everything into Bezier. Just because like now you can kind of see, we can see the motions and how they link together a little bit more. And yeah, we're gonna lose a little bit of data, but that's okay because when we turn on the auto physics, we're gonna get all the motion details back. So,
Wait, why did you do this?
because at the end of it, we're just gonna be left with like the hand data is probably we're gonna rework it completely at the very end, and all we need are these blue keyframes. And then once we have everything in the right location with the blue keyframes, we're gonna use the auto physics to do all the details in between.
Well, the reason you saw like pink interpolation, pink means just difference between there's like tracks, right? So if you expand, can you go just a couple of frames back, a couple of steps back, just very quickly?
Sure, yeah.
It can be, it can actually damage the animation a lot. Yeah, so the pink ones, what you see, right, is just it might be Bezier there, but it could be different from, say, clamped or just Bezier. So if you just press the plus to the left of the name, just to expand it, attack array, if you just press plus to the left of it, you will see the actual interpolations there. So you see most of it is already Bezier.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's just like the difference comes only in arms, so where the fingers are, so that's where, you know, most of the stuff is happening. So yeah,
okay, you know what, all right, let's try it your way.
And this way you see that it actually those red keyframes are only in the fingers actually, but the rest just gives you, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the thing is, usually when I set it to Bezier and stuff, so like for example, we turn off the attacker, is like when you're doing this, you can see like here the arm kind of teleports all over the place, right? Yeah. And I usually would just if you turn it to Bezier from here, then usually it'll. Oh well, we have stuff happening there, but yeah, like it's probably just because there's a bunch of frames here. So like normally, what I would do is I would go in and I would just get rid of the finger positions personally, just so all I have to do is worry about blue frames. Okay. So because like usually the only hand positions I would keep are for the, because yeah, like we had this hand we had hand position, but we got overridden because that. So because of that, we can easily add that back. But I'm just gonna remove the fingers just because I feel like it for what we're doing, we don't really need it. And here's a cool trick that I remember you taught me a long time ago that maybe not everybody knows. If you select multiple frames and you hold Alt F, you can remove things like
Oh, but you can make it this even easier. So just expand the tracks for the characters there, and get to the fingers.
Okay,
Um, because
so
this way you may actually lose some just that yeah
I see what you mean. Okay, so we're gonna go and
yeah expand arms. Either yeah. You can yeah, okay, just give it a little bit of space. And then again, expand. Oh, you don't have fingers. Wait, so you do not have tracks for fingers. Wait, it's legs. Oh,
is
now
it
you
like
do. Now you do.
it's the red ones, whatever these. Oh no, that's the victim. That's the guy where.
And can you expand the view even more, or press the sixth to the from the left in the very bottom left button?
Very bottom left button. So this one?
There's a delay. Let me.
Yeah, I'll wait for you.
Yes, this one. Yeah, it will automatically. So wherever you see fingers L and fingers R, so you can delete those. You can just click on fingers L, the title. It will select all the frames, and you can press Alt F 2 times, and then you will just remove all the.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's a lot easier than whatever I was doing. Okay, well let's do the same thing with these guys too. And all right, nice. Okay, and now we have our blue stuff is kind of going.
Oh, it's because again you don't have
Yeah.
stuff. This is the thing where you say you work with two characters at the same time, right? So
Yeah.
that's where scene linking can come in handy, because you can have, both characters still in the separate scenes. However, they will be perfectly aligned.
Yeah.
And you can quickly, double click on each character and, go to their respective scene. This helps keep the timeline actually clean. And then when you're happy with the overall results, you can then go back and, combine them together when you want to use, say, physics and stuff.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Just as like as a visual habit of mine, I usually I'll just blue things just to know what to keyframe, but yeah, no, I think we at least we kept a bunch of data, which is kind of nice. But yeah, all right, so we'll just clean the hands up a little tiny bit, and I'm gonna start getting rid of frames that I don't think we need, just to make it easier for us to kind of see what's going on. And we'll get rid of this too. Something that I've noticed kind of helps sometimes is when you just when you have frame clusters on one of the 3D models and not on the other, I'll decide in my head, is this really that important, And if it is, I'll add a frame to the other guy. And if it's not, I'll delete it. So here, I don't think this frame is super duper important, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. These are probably okay. And just to line stuff up, we'll put something here and we'll remove it. And there we go. Just key this. Because now we'll have, cool. All right. And I know I don't have to do this, but I'm just gonna. I like seeing the blue frames, just to know that when I move stuff, I'm not gonna lose any of the poses that we have worked so hard to build.
Okay, well, essentially what you're doing right now is that you are setting keyframes for the fingers, basically.
Am I? Okay, well,
Yep.
it's okay.
It's fully okay. And the reason it keeps being pink, right, is because fingers do not have interpolation. So once you are done with what you're doing now, then you go into tracks and you set interpolation for fingers, then you will see that everything will come.
Okay, that makes sense. Gotcha. Well, let's just see how far we get, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to. All right, yeah. So you see, like now the arm is not teleporting anymore, right? So, and that's just because I think.
Oh, you missed one. Like the perfectionist in me is just
The,
dying.
the perfectionist. Dude, we're not perfecting anything today, all right? Like we are going to. We're just gonna we're making a cool animation, all right? All right, so we're gonna go on a roll and we'll see how far we can get the next 15 minutes of this. Let me peek at the chat real quick. Can't you just turn them off? Missing fingers? No, we don't need fingers, Anubis. Don't worry about the fingers. Does Cascadeur export FFmpeg like MP4 or just for exporting data? I actually don't know.
Video, yeah, no, you can export video. You can export wherever you see on the timeline, and also you can animate the camera, or create a camera, or import a camera, and then export whatever you see from the camera. But it's gonna be like it's not gonna render everything, right? It's gonna export what you actually see in the viewport.
That makes sense.
It's
yeah.
actually a very quick way. It comes in handy where you want to just quickly show what you're working on, and then you can just export the a quick video. If you have audio in the file, in the scene, it will export it with the audio. So it can come in handy when you just quickly need to show some progress.
I've used the video for the video reference part of Cascadeur, and it's definitely come in really handy a lot. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Just doing the simplest, fastest animation lineup job I've ever done in my life. Like, so you know what's funny, bro? Like, I'm kind of like you. When I'm working not on stream, and I'm just doing something for me, I'll spend like an hour just perfecting all the details and making sure I don't lose any data on shit. Like, it's just, I'll go to great lengths to just try and maintain as much of the original information as possible. But ironically, I feel like whenever I kind of stop caring, it's usually when, like, I don't know, stuff kind of, sometimes you get really cool looking stuff you didn't expect, and sometimes you get your best work, like, it's when you're like super like, this is gonna be the best animation I've ever made. It's never gonna be the best animation. You're like, this is the one.
For me, this is like prof defamation, in terms of like, it's like being this tutor or being someone who shows things. It's like this absolute must of, this is how it's intended to
right,
work,
yeah.
right? But you sort of like when I do, my stuff in Cascadeur, of course, I'm sort of I'm also giving myself a lot of like leeway in terms of like, I'm not gonna do this. But when you're sort of invited as a guest, or you're
like this, you gotta bring your A game to all. I was like, no, you're losing data. Like, don't do it that way.
Do you think we could potentially make a stream where we would like reverse, and you would give me like challenges, and I will try to do them as quickly as I can do?
That would be really cool. I would love to see you guys just like as the Cascadeur team just do animation challenges with your own software, and I think people would love to see it. I would watch it. I would sub. I'm thinking it'd be the chat. Like
I was terrified of those things, but now I feel like there's very little things I can't actually do. So that's the thing, is I think after you've made, and this is like the only reason I'm comfortable enough to make animations like this, live with you guys, is after you've done it enough, you're kind of not really afraid anymore of like it's no longer a question of, can I do it? Because you can do it. The question is more like, okay, how much time is it going to take me to do it? And that's usually the part. But what's kind of crazy is I've kind of learned, because I watched some other streamers too, in the 3D world, and I just watched it. Like, we can't do it here today because I know we all have like lives and sleep and shit, but like I just see like some people, like, they will leave the stream as long as it takes to finish their whatever they're working on, whether it's like a painting or a drawing or like it's like if it takes 4 hours, the stream is 4 hours kind of thing, right? And so this is one of those things where I'm kind of like thinking to myself, is it's like, because my channel has always been about
not wasting time and doing things quickly, right? So I think that's why I personally am a little phobic when it comes to, long streams, right? Because I'm like, man, nobody wants to watch something for 2 hours or 3 hours, right? But then I'm like looking at other people and they're streaming for like 4 or 5 hours a day, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, maybe I'm not doing that much. Like maybe 2 hours isn't that bad of a stream, right? Because when I'm thinking about like how long it takes for me to do an animation, yeah, it's about 2 to 3 hours for if I really want to do it nice, But yeah, I mean, like animating is one of those things. It takes a long time, just normally, So yeah, I would. But if you guys want to do your own animation challenges, dude, that would be sick. I would love to see that. 2 hours of child's play. Well, see, no, that's what I'm like. That's the weird part for me. Like, I kind of think that, I guess, I don't know. I expect things to be done quickly, but I understand that especially when it comes to this kind of stuff, sometimes it's just not an option, right? Like, okay, so like here in this animation part, this is like one of those parts where you realize, okay, now we have to make some big changes here because this guy is supposed to knee this dude's torso, and you can tell that they are in no position to like yeah, right? Like there's gonna be some major changes here, and usually like what I'll do, and maybe you have a better idea, bro. So if you do, then you, what I'll do, I'll go to the part where I'm like expecting, okay, we need everything from here to here to be like closer, right? So I'll grab these frames, and then I'll just like move everything. What's it called? I'll move the whole dude. Just a little closer, selectively closer, right? And we'll lock this too, just for fun. And we'll bring this guy kind of where the knee is supposed to go, and just to make it look a little bit more realistic, we'll bring him, we'll hunch him over a little bit, but we don't want to hunch over this. We want to lock the pelvis a little bit, because we want to hunch over. Can we do that? I don't want to do this. Let's try this.
No.
Okay, yeah. We want. This is the sort of motion we want here. And probably make the face a little bit more like that. And now we're good. Okay, so, okay, now we're gonna. He's closer, but now we gotta actually like line up. I think this frame right here is happening a little bit too early. Like, he's getting sent at this point, but the kick is over already, so we gotta like line this up a little better. So at this frame right here, the victim should be. We probably just need to get rid of this then. Okay, I'm gonna move this here. And
so the character seems to be moving away from at this frame. You could keep the same selection of frames, and then instead of step mode for the interval edit mode, you could use, say, linear or Bezier, and then in the frame that you're looking in, which would be in the very center or in the mid, you could bring the character closer, and it will just cancel out the movement.
Yeah, and I think that would probably be a good solution. I'm starting, now that we're into the details, I'm noticing that the character, there's two things. This knee needs to be, instead of going diagonally out, it should be going forward. So I gotta fix the rotation on this real quick. And like I said, we'll probably just go for like another 20, around 20 minutes, and then call it in for how it is. But yeah, I know you're in Cyprus, so you're like, it's probably like super late for you, right? Or super.
But yeah, it's almost midnight.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, no. So we'll go for like 15 to 20 more minutes and see how far we get, and then I'll clean this up next time, because I do want to leave some time to just answer some of chat's questions before you have to go.
About, by the way, like about four-armed character or something, you can rig whatever you want in Cascadeur. The only thing is that whether say auto posing and some features like retargeting of the animation will only work with a humanoid character. But then you can be creative, so you can rig two arms for the character, and the rest you could just create the controllers to not auto posing controllers, but point controllers. So you would still be able to use auto posing with this character. You will just have two extra hands that you can, two extra arms that you can animate with point controller. So there's ways you can be creative about those things. But you can break absolutely everything, anything really, and even spiders. But no,
Spiders.
spiders.
That's an oddly
But-
specific example, but yeah, it's
But
I've
look,
never rigged a
we
spider
are-
before.
I think like by the end of the year, we are going to try to release auto posing for animals. So you will be.
Really?
We're working on this quadruped rig for but it's very hard. It's much more difficult than with humans.
Yeah, I
But, yeah.
imagine.
You can expect something like this if we succeed by the end of the year.
I believe in you guys. I think you guys can do it. You just the quadruped rigs are. I feel like people really underestimate how complex like non-human movements are, just because
It's not just the movements themselves, is that humans, they have similar setups. So for example, the way you set up IKs, for the way the hands work, right, and the way the legs work, they're the same for all the humans,
yeah.
sort of, right? But with the animals, for example, the way the cat moves and walks, and even the way the cat is set up, so to speak, and the way the horse rig, for example, is set up. So the horse is literally walking on sort of tiptoes, right? When the cat is actually using the fingers, and the human, these things. And then you
Yeah.
get to predict all those complex IK chains, especially with there's a lot of things there, and it's very difficult to build like a universal system that will work for all kinds of those animals. But we're looking into it. We're really trying our best to get somewhere there.
I was gonna say, okay, so this is actually there's a few people who work exclusively on animals in our community, and so like there's one guy who basically he just does a whole bunch of like animation and art related stuff when it comes to like animals, and then like what was it called, the girls with cat ears or whatever, like, and something he told me was, because I was for me, I just do normal humans for the most part, and they were doing like all the extra sort of like, oh, there's tails and there's ears, and then you like depending on what animal you're doing, like you have like Dalmatian ears or like lions or whatever, like there's a whole a bunch of digigrade stuff. And something that he let me know when it came to that I think maybe it'd be useful for you guys is that not all animals are equally popular. You don't have to make a quadruped rig for all the animals. You could just do like what the common one, like the dogs, the cats, the horse, and that's like 80% of them. Like, because if you get dogs, you got like that's dogs, wolves, foxes. Okay, that's all that. Cats is like all the main ones, and then horses. Yeah, like that's pretty much all there's like 3 main types of animal movement, and I think those are basically it. So you don't have to. I mean, at least I wouldn't. I wouldn't try and make something like a separate rig for like a dog and then another rig for a wolf, just because they're slightly bigger or different or whatever. But I'm like, I don't even know how to approach what you're trying to do. Like, you're trying to make like is it like a multi-purpose quadruped rig that can be applied to different animals, or how does that work?
Yeah, we're looking for like a unified solution, a possible unified solutions, especially the one that can help with, say, posing animals, right? And but there's a lot of challenges we face, and
yeah, I can imagine.
I think we're guessing somewhere, but yeah, there's definitely, and there's also even broader way, even probably there's for humanoid characters, there's different rig setups in different, say, in my have their own like human IK, and then there's a lot of custom
Oh
rigs as well,
yeah,
like Blender the same. Um,
dude. Yeah, nobody agrees on the best rig.
yeah, and
Yeah.
there's so many things, and we were trying to study, like different kind, like what do people do just in general, like what's the right thing, and it depends on the way you animate,
Yeah.
and sometimes people go for like a very skeletal structure where, for example, the spine, the spine, all the vertebrae are like very close to the top of the character, right to the top of the the back of the character, but
Mhm.
oftentimes they go like in the middle just because the for the skinning purposes, for the skinning to look better and stuff. So there's so many approaches, there's so many like takes on it, and yeah, and then there's
It's funny because you say this, but like, our community specifically is, I feel like it originated as a Blender rigging community, for the most part, and I remember like so many people arguing in the comments about like what the best rig was. It's like, oh, it's Rigify. No, it's Auto Rig Pro. No, it's a custom rig built for you, right? Like, no, it's. And then there's like, no, there's the Roku rig, and then there's the Unreal 5 rig. It's like, no, Mixamo. Like everyone was just, nobody could agree. And I thought it was funny because I feel like if you get super far into rigging, you kind of realize that they're all the same in a way, where there is no magic rig. It's like the best rig is the one that you need to get the job done for whatever you're doing. Like if you're in Unreal 5, then it's the Unreal 5 rig. If you're importing all of your animations from Mixamo, then it's Mixamo is probably the rig you should be using for most of your stuff. Or if you're in Blender all the time and you never plan to leave it, you'd probably be rigging, and you probably Rigify. That'd be what I recommend, honestly, if you're gonna be in Blender all the time, right? So it's like, if you don't understand rigging, then you're gonna ask this question, it's like, oh, what's the best rig? But when you do finally understand rigging, you kind of realize, okay, they don't really know enough about Blender to actually understand that question doesn't really have a true answer, because the answer is like, okay, well, what are you doing? Are you doing movie animations, or are you using Maya, or are you using Blender, or are we doing something else? Like, and yeah, I was actually like surprised when I saw that like Cascadeur had actually almost all the rigs that I had used before included in it. Like that was really surprising for me. I wasn't expecting it to have, like, God, if we go to the home tape, yeah, you guys have everything. You have like the Manny, Quinn, Unreal 5, Unreal 4. You got your custom Cassie. You even got, yeah, Sabretooth, like the animal. You even have a freaking dinosaur, dude. Like, you guys had so much stuff. Roblox, like, yeah, like, you guys covered pretty much all the most important bases already. It was impressive, like, the first time I opened it. And I think that's kind of when I realized that you guys were very serious on making sure that your software was compatible with like what's going on around it, because you didn't really know. It's like, okay, we got to make sure that our animations can go where they need to go, wherever that is, right? Like, and that by themselves has been like a really good sign for me as an animator to feel like comfortable investing like my time into learning it, just because, yeah, I think we're at this point where there's so many different ways and so many different software that you could choose from, and we're almost at that point where there's like too many options now, right? Where like people don't want to learn something new anymore because they're like, I just finished learning Blender. Am I really gonna learn another thing now, right? And it's like, it sucks, but you do kind of want to actually, you never want to tell yourself, I'm never learning something new again, right? You should at least have an open enough mind to accept that, like, all right, maybe if something is good enough, I'll learn it, right? Like, and for me, like, Cascadeur just happened to be one of those things where
easier said than done, honestly. Especially, look, I have the real example from my own. I understand how people feel about all this like AI or certain things that are happening right now. one thing is very difficult to switch between whatever you know, because whatever you know, actually feels better, you know, and it
Yeah,
feels
literally.
faster. And maybe in many cases it is because there's a pipeline or the workflow which is familiar for you, where you know, because we do not take it, you know, the job isolated from the context, right? There's a lot of things that could go wrong, and
Yes.
if you are solid in the knowledge of, you know, whatever software you're using, you can get to the solution much faster than with a new software. But there's always this thing with new stuff that I remember I started my a lot of time ago where there were no like video tutorials. There was a book, a huge book that I was
Oh
reading, and I was
no.
taking notes, you know, from it.
Books.
Yes, like, and by the way,
uh,
when you
the
said
Maya
something about,
book.
yeah, when you said
Oh
something
my
like we're
god.
not gonna finish this animation, it really triggered me because I had like a fake book, I think like about 1,000 pages. It was huge, it was enormous, and it had like a DVD with it.
Oh
And then
no. I
on the
remember
DVD,
that.
yeah, on the DVD was this course, like you had to make like a short video about like a man and a dog, and then there was a lot of things introduced there. There's a car passing by, and then it splashes onto the dog, onto the human. And the funny thing is, by the end, you should have got, you know, this kind of like, you know, a short movie or something.
Yeah.
And on DVD, they bloody did not finish this course. So you just, and I didn't know this, and it triggered me so badly for like the rest of my life that I thought like I got through the whole book and I didn't get to the final
You didn't
result.
even get your animation at the end.
I was
Oh
tough,
no.
like, oh my god, this is the worst thing. But the thing was, and I remember I put so much work into understanding what IK and FK were, how
Yeah.
to set up your rig, how to kind of like set up all the like the spine and everything, you know, how everything should be set up and rigged. And then I remember like a couple of years later, human IK happens, and then they just go like, yeah, it's just set up automatically. And for me, it was like, what the hell? What the hell? Like I have
How?
like
Yeah, no, that's the problem. It's like, what do you mean
like,
automatically? Like, no way.
yeah, what should I do with the knowledge, you know, that I spend so much, you know, time.
Yeah.
And think about, you know, people spending like 15 years in Maya. Of course, you know, just they are gonna be super efficient there, regardless whether it's, you know, whether it's useful for you or not. But you know, there's people who are, you know, masters of the, you know, whatever, you know, crafts they're
3D
doing,
Max.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why
Yeah.
we're sort of like, we acknowledge this, and you know, I can say the same thing. So I've been scarred for life by animating in Maya. I'm sorry, I love Maya, but you know,
The bridge has
tried-
been
yeah,
burned, Autodesk. Sorry, like.
yes, like not animating that, and it's I don't understand it, and I was, but getting very understanding this set of tools that you have, specifically for me in Cascadeur, I'm now confident that I can, you know, do even crazy stuff within a very short amount of time, just because you learn, you know, the environment, you learn, you start to understand how everything works, and then you can quickly find the solution to whatever issue you get, just because of knowing how this environment works. And once you dive into it, everything sort of makes sense. It's all logical.
Yeah.
That's why you just you have to be, I think just it's in general, you have to be open to giving certain things a shot, you know.
Yes.
And then I'm sure that, you know, you can still make use of your knowledge, whatever you have accumulated over the years and stuff, and still apply it just to a slightly different, say, interface or slightly different workflow. But yeah, it just well,
I'm glad. Well, so hearing that as a user, right? I'm so glad that the developers of Cascadeur understand that, like, it's not as easy as just saying, it's like, hey, just move to us, bro. Like, you know, all the stuff you learned in Blender and Maya and whatever, like, don't worry about that. Just learn a new software, right? Because that's exactly what you know, Maya said, right? Oh, just learn Maya, right? And then Blender's like, no, just learn Blender, right? And then it's like, as soon as you finally do that, because I learned Maya, and then I learned Blender, and then it was like, you guys showed up, and I was like, okay, am I gonna throw everything out the window again to learn this new thing, right? And I think there's a little bit of a false sort of feeling that you're not actually losing your, like, something that I realized when I was starting to like when I was learning Blender as someone who already knew how to use Maya, and then when I was learning Cascadeur as someone who already knew how to use Blender is most 3D software is kind of the same. Like, there's details that shift whether I would use one or the other for certain situations, and I feel like what actually happens is like, so for example, like my current workflow looks kind of like this. I will model the character. I'll poly model the character. I will sculpt the character in ZBrush first, and then once it's sculpted, I will do all the poly modeling. I'll take it to Blender and I'll poly model all of the low poly details. So like belt buckles, I infinitely prefer doing in Blender than in ZBrush, or any small like details. I'll do in Blender with poly modeling because it's simpler. And then once I finish doing all the details in Blender, after you sculpt it in ZBrush, I'll go to Cascadeur and I'll do the animations for it, right? Because I just think that, like I know you guys don't offer like modeling in Cascadeur, but I mean, even if you did, right? Like that's not what the main purpose of the software is, right? And I think that that's kind of what I'm realizing is like, okay, it's not like Maya was a waste of time. There's certain things that it's really good for, right? And for me, it's like Maya, I still use it to rig, personally. So I'll sculpt in ZBrush, I'll poly model in Blender, and then I will rig it in Maya. Then I will export it to Cascadeur for animation, and then it goes to Unreal 5. That's what my literal workflow looks like, and it's really nice because you're using the strengths of each software, and you're kind of just putting it all together. Because it just saves a lot of time, and it makes a lot of sense, and it also makes you realize that like each software is good at different things, and just because maybe Blender's not as good at animating as it is in Cascadeur doesn't mean your Blender knowledge is useless or outdated or whatever. I mean, maybe it is outdated, but if you can still poly model in Blender, that's cool. Like, keep doing it. If you find that like Blender allows you to poly model easier than any other software, then keep poly modeling in Blender. I mean, for me, that's what it's been. I found that poly modeling in Blender is just a better experience than poly modeling in Maya or poly modeling in ZBrush. That's why I still do it in Blender to begin with. But for as far as like animating humans go, I just feel like Cascadeur is the most. It's just simple. It's simple and easy, and it just like the controls. You don't even have to worry about making the rig. Like once you figure out how to use just move around dots, and I know I haven't really done it, but there's this whole line system too that is really easy too.
Well, that's your average IKFK rig point.
Yeah, the FK rig. Right. No, that. Boom. Okay. Yeah, and we're just gonna have him fall down a little bit. All right.
No, you can use ragdoll for that. By the way, something that is very true is also, a lot of time. This is something that I've heard, that people oftentimes value, like all-in-one solution. So Maya, say Blender, Rise, or 3ds Max were like all-in-one solution.
Right.
But then if you remember, they didn't start like one, right? So
no, they didn't.
It was
right.
good for modeling. Maya was good for animation. That's how people thought about them. And then they kind of like started to include more and more stuff. And you sort of like the key part is that you are in the same environment and you have access to everything there. But at the same time.
So sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
I just wanted to quickly say that at the same time, it's totally fine, I think, and people nowadays are coming to this, that you can use, you can quickly jump to quick magic, pun intended, quick magic. It's a quick magic and get your mocap if you feel like it's needed, and then you just export this FBX somewhere else, and do this the same way. Cascadeur can be just a part of your workflow. You can have your absolutely fully custom setup and rig and whatever, like blend shapes, what have you, in say Maya or Blender, and then you can just export your animation, which is the FBX. You can apply physics, apply certain things, apply certain corrections, bring it back to your scene, and just continue animating. Use animation layers, whatever you have there, it just could be simply a part of the process, which
I was gonna say, like, yeah, that's what I think is like people don't really understand. It's just you if you really want to get optimal, you're gonna be glad you learned the other stuff before, because you'll be able to you have something to compare it to, right? Like I could tell you how good I could tell you how great Cascadeur is at animating, but you won't truly understand it until you've tried animating in Maya. Or you won't understand how good Blender is at poly modeling until you've tried poly modeling in Maya or ZBrush. Like, I could say it, but you won't really know like how much better it is unless you have some sort of reference point. And like, I think people really underestimate like how valuable their experience really is. Real quick, before I let you go, we'll close this out in 5 minutes, and then we'll just do some questions. But I just have to get your take on this. Did you see how Maya's trying to copy you guys?
it's not just Maya. There's the Unity tried, and yeah.
No, like I saw Maya's most recent thing. They were like, oh yeah, you make the starting frame and the end frame, and then Maya will imagine the in between. And I'm like, oh my god, you guys literally just took the in between feature from Cascadeur and like tried to do it.
Look, but the thing is, I don't want to say like we're not worried, but what you have to understand is that Cascadeur has been in development for like more than 15 years now. So
Yeah.
it's only like the 2.5 last years it was actually out and available as a product, but it's been used in the game creation like Vector, Shadow Fight now, like Spine and everything. So during all those years there was this work on developing the software which was actually useful for animation and would make sense. So even when you take in betweening like one of the features, it's not just a standalone feature right now. Like in the second iteration, we're already connecting it with physics, we're connecting it with auto posing, we can like in betweening will understand the velocities of the characters, so you can literally have some kind of animation. You can just it will understand what happens before and after, so it will creatively like blend the animation in between with regards to everything what happens around. You will start to have like control over like what the characters, so it's kind of like if you're just taking one thing like auto posing, it's not as impressive as say auto posing in Cascadeur, because it's tied up with all the other systems in it, so it's just part of the environment, and it can be used in multiple ways, not just to set up the pose, but to fix the poses, to fix bad animation, to fix like jittery things, to clean up, and there's multiple ways you can use it, and that's why it becomes powerful in this particular environment. And yeah, it's not perfect, and there's still like issues we're trying to. I remember someone mentioned something about like back snapping, so there's been an issue for a very long time. We're trying to find the solutions for it not to happen, or like nowadays we pretty much found a solution to prevent knees
from popping.
Popping, yeah. Basically, you will have the fulcrum motion cleaning tool, which literally also prevents the knees from snapping. So you will never get those things just by default there. And there's still like a lot of things that we currently work on. And the best part is that for me, the feeling I remember when I started in Maya, that you have all this environment, it is sort of like all connected, like it's all linked, and you can have like multiple solutions to things. And I get the very same feeling here, is because there's all these systems, but they're not like standalone things. They all like communicate with each other, and they create this environment. Once you understand how it works, it really starts to make sense, and this is where it like speeds up the process a lot. So yeah.
Well,
sorry, I'm just a bit of a fan here.
No. Well, but like I love that, because I feel like this is something I'm seeing a lot in a lot of the software field right now. Like Tripo and Hunyan are trying so hard to one up each other right now. And it's funny because I feel like with Maya, they clearly saw your in-betweening, and they're like, I think we could do that. And so like what they do is they copy like one of the most superficial parts of it, right? and but they don't understand how that part actually fits in to the wider scape of animating, you know? Like kind of like you said, it's not just in betweening, it's like it has to take velocity and speed and the direction of, like, you know, the character. And stuff like that is like why I feel it's gonna feel like a superficial copy at best for the most part, because it's not built to have that whole like that whole ecosystem around it of features to support it. And like, or hold on real quick, let me. Okay, so it's leg, heart. All right. Sorry, I had to make sure I was figuring out like the proper positions for these stabs that are gonna happen here. But yeah, no, I'm really happy to hear that like you guys are not disheartened by seeing like the bigger industries try and copy you guys. For, you know, features that I feel like were really like, when it first came out, in betweening blew my mind, and it was just like, holy shit, dude, this is crazy, right? And then it, like, I think it was like 4 months later or something. No, it wasn't even 4 months. I think it was 2 months later. Maya came out and said, we got this too, but like nobody's hyped about it because it's kind of old news now. It's just like,
but also there's right now I would have like other questions. So okay, so even if it does something in between the frames, how do you so it will do something, right? We're trying to give you guys control now, so you will be able to, for example, switch between or say what you wanted to do. For example, like right now, in betweening is based solely on, you know, how much time between one and the other keyframe the character has. But then you'll be able to force, you know, certain actions, whether you want to walk, or the character to walk, or to run, or to jump, or to do certain things. So this is where we start to kind of like get in and see how much we can control, you know, over what was happening. But then the other question is like, okay, so you've got some animation. So what are you going to do then with it? And then we have like unbaking, right? Or then we have physics. Then we have, you know, things where you can turn this animation into, you know, into keyframes and actually continue to work on it. And you know, once you don't like something, you just erase part of it, you in between again, and you know, do something else. It's just a part of the workflow. And I think you're probably going to be surprised with a couple of releases later on this year, because we're thinking about integrating in betweening. It would be just the other kind of interpolation, basically. So it would just be all integrated with interpolating between the frames. So if it feels like it's better to in between, it will do this. It will feels like interpolation just works better, it will do interpolation instead. So it's going to be like a much more a more I don't know, like fluent way of working with keyframes,
or organic, maybe, kind of
feeling. Yeah. Something like this, where, you know, you would just I don't fully understand how it's going to work, but I'm very mesmerized by it.
You guys are gonna you'll figure it out when you get there, kind of thing. Like...
And for us, you know, also in terms of the usage, like we have a huge team of, you know, people who are working on the game called Spine right now in the Naki.
Nice.
And they're constantly using Cascadeur. So we have this, you know, a huge team of animators who have their own say in the development as well. So, and you know, it's constant like back and forth of, you know, what's testing stuff, you know, facing the issues, trying to fix the issues, and so it's
that's so cool though. Like, yeah, I mean, that's how you get the best data though for like what to do for improving your software. It's like, oh, you have a real team using it for a real game project, like, dude.
But also we learn a lot from, say, people outside of our team. You know, now bigger studios are taking on Cascadeur in different kind of different uses. Often it can start from just, you know, previous teams who need, you know, very quick solutions, very visual, you know, having, you know, just given, you know, we need the character to move the other way, or we need them to do the other thing, and they can quickly do those things, and then all the way up to, you know, all the like cinematics and stuff like that. And we also learn from this from them a lot, because oftentimes they already have established pipelines which are different from, you know, the ones in the Spine team, for example. And it's always very refreshing and very informative to understand how they work, so
Yeah.
we can clearly see what we are lacking in that regards. But yeah.
I would imagine like it'd be very eye-opening to kind of see like how the other teams are like, you know, operating and stuff that is like very different from you that maybe you didn't think about. And dude, I'm pumped. Like I said, I support you guys. I really love the kind of animation software that you're making, and I just love. I know we were just talking about like an all-in-one solution, but this is just me being a little selfish, but I really hope you guys continue to focus mainly on animation, because that's what most of the people who are using you are going to be using you for. You know, like if you don't need to have a modeling part of Cascadeur, you don't need to have a rendering part of Cascadeur. I hope you guys stay focused on animation, because that's what makes animating in Cascadeur nice, is because when you know that the update that you're going to get next month from the dev team is to make animation better or easier. You know that for a fact, right? It's like the opposite feeling when you're using Blender and you're just praying to God that like, I hope they make white painting easier. And they're like, we fixed, we made grease pencil faster. That's the update. And then you're like, okay, maybe next month they're gonna make the white painting easier or rigging better. And then they're like, we reduced the speed that render happens on cycles or in Eevee. And then you're just like, I guess I'm never getting an update for rigging an animation in Blender. But it happens, but you don't know. It's kind of disheartening when you just know that the team isn't solely focused on what you're using the software for, right? Like, and I think that's why I really like what you guys do, is just you're animation specialists. And that makes a big difference, because it's like, all right, I know that I'm going to be receiving animation updates specifically, you know, every couple months or whatever, you know, you guys are doing. And dude, like, yeah, so I hope you stay specialists within this industry, because I think that's why animating feels different in Cascadeur compared to animating in other software that do have all-in-one solutions like in Blender or Maya. So there's my 2 cents. Like I said, you guys can do what you want, but I appreciate the fact that you guys are solely in Cascadeur, solely in animation, because it really I could feel it. All right, I could do I could finish this animation later, so because I think we're coming to a pretty good point. We didn't finish everything, but like you guys can kind of see how it's shaping up, right? Like if I had worked on this for another 2 hours, it would have been fine. So that's I'm just gonna save, because I do want to finish this animation later, but hopefully you guys kind of sort of like saw the process a little bit. It starts with really crappy motion capture, and then it goes into importing both the characters in, and literally from there you're just tweaking and lining up keyframes so that, you know, everything is together. That's pretty much the entire, like, that is pretty much my entire workflow. So let's go ahead and take some questions now. I just want to answer this one really quick, because I think it relates to you. If Cascadeur is outside of Blender, how can you make a custom model if you want a taller human model for your animation? And I'll tell you my answer, because I've literally just had to deal with this, but I'm sure there's a professional answer right behind me. You can import any character you want, and it can be any size you want from Blender. You literally you make the character in Blender, and then you export it, and then you import it into Cascadeur, and then Cascadeur has this cool thing called auto rig, and I'll let my homie take it from here, because that's all I know. But it's very easy.
Yeah, and also with the different like size models, if you're using retargeting, then it's gonna like automatically again, retargeting only works for humanoid characters, but it takes into account, you know, different proportions that the characters have. So if you have like longer legs, it will make bigger steps and stuff like this. And it's if you are using a fully custom model, then you can create a preset for this rigging system. So you basically have to rig it once, and then you can save it as a preset, and the next time you're going to import the character with the same naming of the joints, it will get automatically rigged.
Yeah, you do it once, and then you don't have to worry about it, which is nice.
And this is the thing. I think one of the questions earlier on, I remember, was about rigging. Because, for example, if you have like a custom rig set up in Blender, right, how do you import it into other systems? And I think this is universal for all this software. Is you can't. It's just like this is the universal answer, because FBX, all those controls that you have, for example, that you customly set up in Maya, right?
Yeah.
So you can't export them. You can export them as objects, but they don't have all the connections and anything, right?
Yes,
Like
exactly. Yeah.
and stuff. So, and that's where this rigging thing comes into play, because again, by having this rig setup, you set up the it automatically sets up the rigid body, so your character would have weight and it would have center of mass. That will be, again, but it's only makes sense inside Cascadeur because it has this the systems for those things. And yeah, so that's how you do it. So you just have your custom character fully set up, say in Blender. You export the FBX, which exports the joint skeleton and the mesh, right, which is skinned. Then you have a set of controls for to do your thing, the thing in Cascadeur, and then you just export the same bones, joints, and the mesh, or just the joints, and then you import it onto your character and continue animating with all your custom things that you have set up. And I think this is universal for anyone, because there's no universal thing. There's no universal.
Yeah, there's no universal thing, but there's a real quick question that we had that I think we should talk about, because we were messing with it like last month. Will you support wings or snake models in the future? I'll let you handle that, because this is we had a long discussion about wings before.
But the thing is, like, you can rig anything, right? I think same as like with say like your character having some hair, right, or like some stuff. You can rig that as well. You can use things like secondary motion on it, and you can still use auto posing, but not with those extra elements. But you can use auto posing for the character, and then extra rig extra things that your character has. And we had I believe we have like a tutorial on the like red panda character, which
yes, I remember that one.
yeah, we used auto posing for the majority of it, but then we had everything else, like the scrolls in the back, the tail rigs as well, and we were able to use like compensation motion, secondary motion on those things, and get something like automatically from it. So yeah, it's the wings are the same. And I think someone even tried to rig a skirt and like simulate garments.
Dude, no way.
Which looked cursed. It was just like, oh my god, yeah. But you can try it for sure. Like wings, no problem. I think you have a character with wings.
I saw your team rigged my winged character, and I was super impressed because I didn't know it had the ability to do that. That was actually one of the few lessons I didn't have a chance to turn into a tutorial, but it's possible, guys. Like it doesn't even take a long time. If you go to the rigging tool, you just add rigid bodies to the wings, and then Cascadeur will give you like points you can control for them. And I think once you set that up, the auto physics works with the wings too, right? Like,
yes. So auto physics, so the auto posing, right, and auto physics are completely separate things, right?
Right.
They're not dependent on each other. So that's why physics works with any kinds of characters. You can have a box literally, and it will have physics, right, like mass or what have you. So yeah, definitely. And you can still you can still rig your character as a humanoid character, means like it has like at least 2 feet.
At least 2, right? Yeah.
You can rig them separately, obviously, but auto posing will work with those, right, with a human setup. But you can have and you will have to switch to the point controller to control them. That's just another rig which works again with auto posing as well.
Nice. That's cool. Is there any big questions you wanted to answer before we mark this up to a close? I'm just going through it. I'm just going through the trap. But like, if there was something that stood out to you that you really wanted to address, feel free while I'm going through.
Look, I think the moderator, your moderator, actually like save the questions on Discord or somewhere, but I can't quite find it. If you,
Let me see. Oh wait, I think he messaged me. Hold on. Staff room. He did. All right. So there's like 3. There's a few. God, I need a.
you can just read out.
Yeah,
read
yeah.
them out.
All right. So can this AI be? All right. So I'll just read them out. I'm gonna read them as I. So if you've already answered this, then we can skip over it. But I'm just gonna read them for the first time. All right. Can the AI auto adjust the center of gravity when picking up weight? How do I add weight to the hands? So I guess if you're picking up like a glass.
Yes, it does. So every even like all the interactions. So if your character has a backpack or has a sword or something like this, and if it's a part of the rig, whenever the character comes in contact with it, the center of mass is going to be calculated for both. And the same
Nice.
goes with characters. So once the characters come in contact with each other, um, their centers of mass will be combined, and physics will calculate for both of them. And also something for in betweening to tease you with something.
All right.
We're working on a new data set for people picking up things, and we're expanding this whole thing. So it's not just going to be about like walking, running, but it's going to be about locomotion in general, but also include things like picking up objects, like a little bit more of maybe going into like stationary animation, idols and stuff. But yeah, we're kind of looking into ways to expand this.
That is awesome.
In the
Dude.
nearest future, you will see stuff come in the literally next release, probably at the end of the summer, probably sometime in August.
Nice. Okay, well that's good to know. There's one question here that I can really quickly answer. It says, can we import the exclamation? Can you get the animations from Cascadeur, and then bring them back into Blender and fix them up in Blender? And yes, you can. You can bring your character from Blender to Cascadeur, make an animation, export that FBX back to your character in Blender, and then make adjustments in Blender if you're more comfortable there. I've done it before. It's pretty cool. It's
Same with Maya, and it could be part of the workflow. Sometimes people use it for literally for to clean up the animation, to get like the physics, probably if or to retarget your animation, or to add physics in case you have like a different kind of character, because oftentimes you can get this feeling of a man in a suit when you're doing mocap for like weirdly shapes or off kind of like this. And there, this is where you can use auto physics to quickly fix like the center of mass, add secondary motion and stuff, and then you can bring it back to your to whatever you're working on. You could use bridges. I think Blender has a bridge. It's not official, but there's a bridge I know between Cascadeur and Blender. There's also a bridge between Cascadeur and Maya. Obviously there's a live link officially between Cascadeur and Unreal Engine.
Yeah, no, it's very cross-compatible. You can export animations from any software into Cascadeur, kind of like you saw me export Unreal animations into Cascadeur, and we used that as a base. And now we are adjusting those animations, and then we're gonna export them back to Unreal when this is all over. And you can do the same for Blender. You can do the same for Maya. It's very, 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 very nice. So yeah, they're cross-compatible all the way through. Okay, we got like 2 more questions here. Is Cascadeur still owned by Neki? I don't know.
Yes, because of Neki. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It could be like, oh, sure, I should not say this.
You don't have to say anything that'll get you into trouble, bro. It's all good. All right. Oh, we're gonna move on.
I was wanting to think like who that question might be.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? We don't want to get you fired. We're gonna move on. Okay, all right. Let's go. All right. Yeah, we cannot export control rigs. We already answered that and why.
Yeah, that was the control rigs.
How does the twist bones? How are they handled? I have a tutorial on that. Let me give you the link for that, because I literally covered twist bones already. So let me just do that right now before I forget, because I am going to forget if we don't. Yeah, twist bones was like one of those things that threw me in for a loop for a while before. Yeah, you literally like showed me like, oh, you just click this, and I was like, really? That's how it was? But
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot of there might be caveats with again with the quick rigging tool. The one that I've had with some of my jobs that I've done so far, the guys were using the character from DAZ 3D, right?
Hmm.
But they actually exported it from Blender already. So they had like a plugin that gets your character into Blender, and then you export it. And obviously, all the namings of the bones or of the joints were absolutely the same, right, as in
Right.
theirs. But somehow with FBX exports, due to because Blender, I guess, it does some weird things to twist bones, like it resets their rotation. So by default, the quick rigging tool recognizes everything, and it sets the character up. But because it's been exported from Blender, and because the joint rotations were offset or were like reset or something like this, then the twist did not work properly. So you have to sometimes these things happen. So although the model is fully recognized, but because there were like multiple steps before you got the model into Cascadeur, they might have offset something or reset something. You could potentially run into issues. But yeah, it's just sometimes these things happen, so have to keep an
Yeah,
eye
no,
out.
the twist bones they're pretty simple to adjust, and they're pretty simple to add if you're using something different. Like Unreal uses 2 twist bones for the wrist. If you have something different where you're using 1 or 3, you can add more bones for sure. Let's see. The next question is if you
By the way,
have.
someone is asking about like this going back and forth between from Maya to Cascadeur. I think just normal FBX export works well, but there's also a bridge, and if you haven't checked it out, I suggest you do check it out, because there's a bridge between Cascadeur and Maya. You can probably find it on somewhere on Discord, not Discord server.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. So it's gonna be on Discord if they need it. That's cool. There's another question here. Oh, I should probably be reading your guys' names for the questions so you know it's directed at you. This is Korean. Luckily, I can kind of read it. Han Dong-gyu. That was how many body models of animations are you planning to support? Someone who animates creatures. I'm curious what other things you will add. Like, oh wait, no, we got you. All right, we covered that already.
Yeah, anything, but you can be smart and you can still try to use auto-posing stuff for.
Yeah, no, that's pretty clean. Let's see. Cascadeur can clean up motion capture animations. Marion, yes, it can. That's exactly what we're doing. V8 of cleaning. Instead of cleaning up in Maya, you could clean them up in either software you're comfortable with. I think cleaning up in Cascadeur is just a little bit faster because it's more simple. So like you can kind of see everything on the timeline. And then you can literally just decide, all right, we need this, we don't need this, we're getting rid of this, and you're left with just keyframes that you can use. But here's the thing that you can't do in Maya. In Cascadeur, we have this magic physics assistant thing, and part of the cool thing about this is we can just get the basic keyframes, and you can kind of see on the green area here that Cascadeur is taking our shitty keyframes and it's turning them into like more realistic like movements and motions, right? So that's something you can't do in Maya. In Maya, you are left with exactly the data you have. If these are your keyframes in Maya, Maya's not going to make it look better. But in Cascadeur, you can take the basic data, and then Cascadeur can be like, I think I can make this more natural or look better. And you can literally just see how it tries to make it look more natural. And you can see in the green AI version of our animation how much smoother it's looking. And in the real version, we would have actually fixed things like the hand position and the clipping and stuff like that. But yeah, cleaning up in Cascadeur is just a little better, I think, just because we have this physics assistant and it turns your boring keyframes into like somewhat reasonable real life physics. So
Well, yes, and well, yeah, I guess, but also it's important to understand that there's, for example, the way the physics works is that by default it doesn't change the poses. It only cares about keeping the character balanced, you know, like shifting center of mass depending on, you know, the fulcrum points, and also like taking it into account the inertia, the angular momentum, all this like kind of like physical stuff, overall making the animation look smoother, right, and make more sense.
Yes.
And but also there's, you know, filters that you can use additionally to get it to actually change poses, like secondary motion, compensation motion, smooth trajectory, rotation and stuff. So yeah, there's ways for you to work on, but I think like the most important thing is actually the animation unbaking, which you showed right at the beginning, which takes your animation and turns it into a set of keyframes. And again, you can by changing the settings, you can vary how, you know, how many keyframes you will get, how approximate the animation will be, or how close will it be to the original. So you can take even like a bad kind of animation and it will automatically clean up, you know, all the, you know,
Right.
bad,
All the
like,
little
kind of like all the frames that don't make sense, like switchier stuff, and leave you with, you know, a set of clean keyframes which you can then edit and you know, do stuff
Yeah,
with.
just trust me when I say this, guys. It is more useful than you think it is. But like sometimes when I'm like animating and I don't know what's wrong, I'll just turn on the assistant and I'll see what it's like trying to do, and I'm like, oh, that's why it looks wrong. I didn't do this, and clearly there should be some extra motion between these two frames. It's super helpful to have this physics assistant here, because you can literally see like kind of what it's supposed to look like, and then you can adjust the frames to like make it even better. That's all the questions that we had. Is there anything you
Oh,
want to
one
just...
more.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, how did you put your real life animation into Cascadeur? I think it's like video mocap, right? You used what?
Yeah. So he's talking
Magic?
about the latest video. I just recorded myself doing the quick magic stuff, which again, you guys can see here. I'll leave another link to it, and I'll do it again. So there's going to be 2 links here, guys. Lotus, this is the answer. So the quick magic is used to take phone videos. So I just recorded myself on my phone, and then I uploaded it to quick magic, and it turned it into an animation. And then we took that animation and we cleaned it up in Cascadeur, and then we put it in Unreal, and that's what you guys see.
There is also like video mocap right in Cascadeur, but it's not as precise as quick magic. Quick magic.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Going to be
just- yeah.
updated by the way in the next release as well. So definitely fix the character sort of like moving too much on the z-axis, you know, when you just shoot one angle. So that's fixed. It's also connected with, you know, like already applies, you know, full promotion cleaning there, so the feed do not slide around too much. So yeah, you can look up, but definitely right now the best probably the best solution would be quick magic for
and to answer your question, Lotus, yeah, there's no suit needed. You do not need a $3,000 suit to use quick magic. You literally just record from your phone, and it does everything. It translates whatever is on your phone into an animation, into a character animation. That's why, because I have the $4,000 suit. I don't use it anymore because quick magic is just better and easier and faster. So like, yeah, definitely. I think those are all like the main questions. Is there anything you want the Cascadeur team wants to say to the community before we wrap up? I know it's like midnight over there for you, so like, sorry.
Nice.
All right, it's probably past midnight now, but I know you guys. It's for you. It's super freaking late.
Have a good week.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'm actually it's interesting because you know, this kind of this stuff that but first of all, what we want to say, I remember there was a question, why not you know, why not offering people like free licenses for content. We do even better. We not only offer free licenses, but we're willing to like to get people to produce the content, to buy this content from people. The problem is that is often again, how do we communicate those things, you know, the new changes, for example, that happen. So we're definitely working on trying to produce as much content as we can for you guys, and I think in the next couple of months you would definitely see the difference and see the growth in the content that we upload. But yeah, other than that, is it's incredible to have a community, honestly. And the main thing, the main takeaway, I think, from the whole thing should be that, you know, we try our best to make Cascadeur as easy as possible without losing the depth. So you can quickly get certain things to work, but this it doesn't mean that you can't go, all the way deep into, setting up every single part of the body, or like every single point of every
Yeah.
single keyframe. So you can do all of that as well, but we're just hoping we can create an environment which is much more inviting, is much easier to break into, and get some results, some cool results to work with, and just inspire animations, I guess.
Dude, you are definitely inspiring. At least not just me, but I'm pretty sure multiple people in my community who are like who've tried your software and they know that it's actually like really good. Like it's kind of like I like to I imagine Cascadeur in my mind it occupies a similar space as Substance Painter for texturing. Like so, for example, if you're making textures at all for 3D, you basically want to use Substance Painter or Substance Designer or Substance whatever. Like because texturing in Substance is just better than texturing in everything else for the most part. Like I know it's by Adobe, but I'm telling you, Anubis, it's the time it saves.
Yeah.
It's
This is
I trust me. I know. It's not. Nobody likes Adobe, but Substance Painter is worth it. I'm telling you now. If you are texturing in 3D, Substance Painter will do it faster and better and smarter than any other software right now. Maybe something else will get better later, but right now, there is no competition. If you want a texture in 3D, it's just no contest. Substance Painter is just the best. But I feel like when it comes to animating, Cascadeur is very similar. It's like you go to it for that one specific thing for animation. The same way you don't go to Substance Painter for anything outside of texturing. You don't go to Substance Painter for modeling or rigging or white painting. You don't. It's literally just for texturing. And I feel like Cascadeur is a very similar. It's a similar mental space for me. It's like, oh, I need to animate Cascadeur, clearly, and so like, yeah, I really love that because I can feel it as a user that you guys have really tried hard to make sure it's easy to break into and get the hang of without having to like, memorize a dictionary, which is what a lot of software kind of forces you to do if you're doing it for the first time. It's just really like I'm just so glad you have a basic all-purpose human rig thing, quick rig, because you can take literally you can take Mixamo, Unreal 5, Unreal 4, Unity. You can dump any one of these rigs into Cascadeur, click the quick rig button, and you're basically ready to start animating like immediately. That's how flexible it is when it comes to it. You can literally throw it any human structure, and Cascadeur will just basically quick rig it. And then, if there are small issues, you can very easily just be like, "Oh, you forgot a bone here. Do this." But so far in my experience, like I've thrown Mixamo into it, I've thrown Unreal, I've thrown Unity, I've thrown Rigify, I've thrown a lot of random rigs into Cascadeur, and within 5 minutes, just start adjusting the animations the way you've kind of been watching me do this whole time. And that's just because this system is similar. It's like, oh, it doesn't matter what the name of the bone is. This is the hand. This is the left hand. You move it. You rotate it. You keyframe it. That's it. That's all you have to know to animate in Cascadeur. You don't need to know how to make a rig to start animating, which is something that you kind of do need to know how to do if you want to animate in like Maya or Blender. You kind of need to either figure out the rig that you're using, like you have to learn Rigify if you're going to use Rigify, or you make your own custom rig. But in Cascadeur, they're just like, yeah, you click on the foot if you want to move the foot. You click on the hand if you want to move the hand. You click on the head if you want to move the head. It's just so much more intuitive and simple and basic. Yeah, and it's not laggy either. Like all this is all real time, and I'm streaming too. So like this is real time, not lagging. It's super simple, super fast, and it does exactly what it says it's gonna do. So that's like, I guess the last little hoorah I'm gonna give like the thumbs up to you, because I think your team is doing an incredible job at keeping it simple, keeping it focused, and just making it easy to get into. And like for sure, man, like just I can't wait to see the updates. Because everyone, you literally set the standard, because people are just trying to copy your features now. Maya's trying to copy your features. I'm sure I'm sure Blender's gonna probably make some add-ons to copy some of your features too. But yeah, you guys literally shaped the field of like modern 3D animation, and everyone's just struggling to kind of keep up with you guys now. So whatever you guys have in store, like I know you can't say it, a lot about all the stuff that's coming in, but I just want you to know I'm excited. A lot of people in my community are excited. We're just glad that you took the time to drop by and hang out with us today. And
it's a pleasure to be here. It's a nice, it's a different thing because I'm kind of like used to, being stressed to show things and talk at the same time, and this is kind of like it's a chill thing.
Well, I hope it wasn't too stressful this time. So.
Look, we can definitely, if you find it interesting, we can definitely like swap sides and do it. Make a stream where you would throw tasks at me, and I will just show you guys the best way I think to solve those tasks. So you could do this as well.
Yeah, no, Anubis says thank you for your accent, bro. So everyone loves the accent. I'm telling you, it's your defining feature. We love it. But yeah, all right. Well, I won't take any more of your time then. But hey, I just wanted to say, I speak for all of us. Thanks for taking the time to drop by. I hope it wasn't too weird.
Oh, it's been absolute fun, and yeah, it's nice hanging out with you. So,
yep. For sure, man. Well, if you ever just wanna like, let it like, hey, there's new features we want you guys to know about. Feel free to just let me know, and I will inform my community, and hopefully my community will inform other communities. Because yeah, you guys have a lot of really cool features, and I know you guys got a lot of new stuff coming up. And like whenever, like literally all I do is I use 3D software, and then I share what I know. So if there's anything you want people to know about that you think is useful, just let me test it, and then I'll be like, hey, look, there's this cool new feature you guys should know about, and it'll be another 30-second video or something. So, but yeah. All right. Well, hey.
No, thank you for what you are doing, because you have produced so many videos recently of Cascadeur, and even before that, actually, before
Yeah, before we actually hung out and talked and like learned. Yeah. No, I saw the potential early, so I jumped on that. Yeah, and I'll continue to do so. But all right. Well, hey, I will go ahead and leave it at that. For sure, guys. If you guys want to try the software out, it's free to try. And there's use the promo code. I left a link in the chat. You guys can see it. Yeah, if you want like to support an awesome 3D team that is making animation like approachable for the average person, I mean, that's literally what Cascadeur is all about. They are specifically an animation specialist software. So check them out. Links in the description. And
also we have Discord, right? So if you have questions, Discord is the best way to address them, because there's a community of animators, and there's also our tech support, which is super fast with replying.
Yeah, for sure. Check out the Cascadeur Discord as well, because they got a lot of really good talent over there too, and they can help you with stuff if you have questions. But definitely, like I would say, if you do try Cascadeur out, you're gonna have a great time, especially if you watch like my playlist for it first. It's like 20 videos, and they're all like 60 seconds long. If you just binge that for 30 minutes, you'll finish all of the videos, and you'll know a lot about how to just get the hang of Cascadeur. So yeah, start with that playlist. I guess wait, this will be the last thing. I'm gonna give you guys the playlist so you guys have it. Because yeah, if you just binge it, you can literally finish this whole thing in like less than probably 30 minutes. Yeah, Cascadeur speed tutorial playlist. This is the last thing I will put in the chat. Yeah, this is the end of the stream, guys. So yeah, Cascadeur. Yeah. I feel like, wait, was this not the? I think I gave you guys the wrong. Oh, I can't, man. All right, I'll give you guys a link to it later. But there's a Cascadeur playlist. So yeah. All right. Well, anyway, thank you everyone for joining in the stream. And bro, it's been an honor and a pleasure. I gotta say the thing. I'll say the thing. All right. Let me say thank you first. Okay, then I'll say the thing. All right. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to hang out with us, man. And good luck with your team. I can't wait to see what you guys
Thank you
do.
so much.
Seriously,
Pleasure.
yeah. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And I guess I'll say it. Well, I hope all of you have a fantastic day. I will see you around. And yeah, this is Royal Skies signing out. And you guys take it easy, okay? All right, here we go.